All right. Good good day, everyone. I believe that covers for wherever you're joining in from, whether it's in the morning, afternoon, or night time. It's good to be here once again, and it's good to have every single one of you on the call. We had an amazing time yesterday. I'm sure everyone that was available would have one or two things that they would love to share as an experience from yesterday's session. And so yesterday we focused on, entry level people that basically have not had any experience before. We learned how to convert the unpaid experience, right, into marketable experience for you to get your first gig, to get your first job, just to show competence. All right, we talked about how the project you do on campus, those things you volunteer to do for your friends here and there, how you can shape those things into proper experiences. All right, so today is going to be for a very different demography, but it's still relevant to every single one of you, because the fact that you're starting a new industry doesn't mean you will not find yourself in a place where you want to transition. And then for some of you, you may have started jobs already on a platform, on a course-based platform. For example, you read art, and then they just believe that you have to be acting or painting or singing, and then you feel that that's not where you ought to be, and you need to pivot. And then the question is, how do I change when it seems like the last 1, 2, 3, 4 years of my life has been in one particular discipline? All right, so we're gonna find out today um how we're going to get out of it. And as I was just saying before the call started, we're going to be sharing. I'm going to look at a particular client resume. I'll do my best to remove the person's name. Right, I want to show you the person's resume that I worked on and how the person navigated from one discipline into a new discipline. So at least that proofs, right? And I'll also show you, of course, the person used it to get access into a PhD, moving from engineering to finance, right? And so we'll show that as well. Okay. All right. So moving on. Um, so just like we did yesterday, who is this particular session for? So it's almost similar, but like I said, new demography to recent graduates. So you're changing industries, you're exploring new paths beyond your degree. For some of you, you have moved ahead from BSc to get an MSc, right? And you're saying, okay, this MSc, I just did it because I wanted to be a master's degree holder, but that's not really what I'm passionate about. So how do I communicate what I'm passionate about into a resume to get me a job that is not in my discipline, right? Career experimenters. You're testing different fields and discovering your true calling, meaning you're just like what the question that Sam asked yesterday. You're the person that has multiple skills, and then you're wondering how to present these things in the resume. So you find yourself in a situation whereby you have so many talents, or you can do so many things at the same time. And so you're wondering, okay, which one would I do that is actually my true call? Which one comes easy to me? For example, I went for a TEDx event today, and I went to my complimentary my call cards, right, and my ID card. And when I'm showing my call card to a few persons, they wondered, this design is quite nice. Who was the designer who printed it? And I designed it myself. I designed the call cards myself. I designed the ID card myself. I only just gave it a printer to print, right? And so, does that mean that I'm called to be a designer? We will never know. So I can wake up one morning and say, okay, I want to test the waters. What things will I put on my portfolio? I'll put the compliment, the call card. I'll put the resume as a resume. I'll put the ID card. I'll put corporate profiles that I've done before, right? And see, do I really want to be in this field? Can I weather the storm? That's one. Maybe I'm good at training people. Do I want to be a training and development specialist? That's another. Maybe I'm good at the economics that I studied. Do I want to be an economist? Do I want to be working for, trying to decipher economic policies and all that? Do I want to be a research analyst or research assistant? You'd want to experiment. So career experimenters basically is what I just explained, right? Self-taught professionals. So you're building skills outside traditional academic structures. So meaning some of you here, of course, I mean maybe largely all of you here, right? You have learned something, probably you don't even have a certification for it. It's something you just learned, right? For example, I don't have a certification for designs. I learned how to design from Canva. I did a Courageous when I was a child. I started doing Courageous from when I was like 12, 13, right? But then I dropped it because, of course, I didn't find that as a discipline for me at the time. But when I came into the career space where you need to have flyers go up here and there, and then you probably you don't have the budget for it at the moment. You just go on Canva and do your thing and get out. So self-taught. The question is, do I want to build a career out of it? Right? And I probably don't have a certification for it. So how do I now show people that, oh, I have this knowledge, right? We're going to do that again in this session. Bold transition, as you're ready to pivot but unsure how to position yourself. That is where the resume, or rather the CV, whatever you want to call it at this point. But when you see it, you know whether it's a resume or a CV. That is what I'm going to be showing you guys on this call as well. An actual resume of someone that had a foundation in engineering. She had I think it's called BS, no, bachelor's BEng, right? And she got the first class. Then she went ahead to a master and did a master's. A master's, I think, is computational, something around AI. And then she now transitioned to finance for a PhD, right? For the MSc, it was related to the engineering she did, because it was about urban structures in a way. But for the PhD that was in finance entirely, I will show you how we used one course one course that she took from Udemy, how we used one course to shape her entire CV, right? And shaped her proposal letter, and she got a PhD at Glasgow Caledonian University in Scotland. All right. So if you have ever felt trapped by your course of study, or you believe that you've had to start over, you have to start over to change your careers, you're in the right place. So if you're pivoting, right? I have a friend on this call. He studied economics just like I did, but now he's trying to pivot to an entirely different discipline, right? Something around policy and politics. So it's a new thing for him, right? But it's a bold transition. So this is a call for him too. I'm glad he's on the call. All right. So let's move on. Please ask your questions, just pen them down. When the time comes, we'll dabble into as many questions as you have. So what's the core struggle? Right? My degree doesn't match this role. Sometimes, like I said, I just give an example of me being able to design. But then you see in the requirements, right? Bachelor's in design, bachelor's in graphic design. When I see such things, I laugh because I don't know. I'm a Nigerian, right? If your journalists come from other country, maybe you can tell me too. In Nigeria, have you ever seen a university that is doing BSc in graphic design? If you have, I mean, maybe I don't know. Tell me in the comment section, right? Bachelor's in graphic design. Or that was even too much. Bachelor's in project management. Maybe they started this year, but I don't think any school was doing it 2 years before, 3 years before now. If you know any, please let me know. So, but you see these things when you are trying to apply for a job. My degree does not match this role. My degree does not match this role. So what do I do? I've seen jobs like that before. They say, oh, you have to have a bachelor's in project management, but I've done everything a project manager would do. I know I don't have the bachelor's. I have bachelor's in another different thing entirely. Does that mean that that opportunity is not for me? Does that mean I should just leave it entirely? No. I keep getting rejected because of my discipline. Of course, maybe you try, you're a bold transitioner, and it's since you're bold, they brought their own boulders to bring you down by giving you rejection letters, right? And you're wondering, what am I going to do? And then maybe you've already said, okay, now this is your reality. You have seen that you have been applying, no job is coming, right? Okay, where do I now position myself? But I have these experiences and I have this degree that is different from my experiences. Where do I position yourself? That's what some of you are saying on this call, right? Some of you are saying, am I stuck with what I studied forever? Does that mean that because I read economics, I must finish with it? Does that mean because I read quantity surveyors, I must be a quantity surveyor? What if I want to be an architect? I like drawing. What if I want to be an artist? Am I going to be stuck in that degree? Is that what I'm going to be about? Will I be one of those people that, the children will just come and welcome the parents back from work every day? Oh, daddy, you're welcome, and they are pissed. They're not pissed at the children, they're pissed because they have been doing something for the last 20 years that they don't love just because it pays the bills. Because we don't want anybody on this call getting to that level, because that's a very terrible place to be. I guarantee you. All right, so that's the struggle for some of us on this call. So we're going to be able to dissect these things. So these doubts are real. I'm going to lie to you and tell you that they are not real. They are so real, but they don't have to define your career trajectory. right? So today we're going to watch rewrite that narrative for every single one of you on this call. We're going to change that narrative to ensure that you're leaving this call with not just the tools, you're leaving this call with the change in mindset and the tools as well, and you're ready to execute. Now, let me just tell you the truth about degrees and careers, right? Your degree is not a lifetime sentence. So your major was a starting point, good and fine, not your final destination. The workforce values adaptability and growth. That's just what it is. And I'm a living testimony of that. I read economics. I even have a master's in economics, but I'm doing absolutely nothing. Or okay, maybe rather I was doing absolutely nothing within the economics for the last 5 years, 6 years. What was I doing? Programs. From programs, I went to writing, content writing, and then I'm now writing. I'm editing. No relationship. So it was my starting point quite all right, right? I probably even have a master's in it, so it maybe it's still something I'm going to use in future, but doesn't mean it's my destination. So that may be some of you on this call. Skills drive the hiring process. Employers care more about what you can do than what your diploma says. If you do not know this, know it now. I gave a story one time on this call where I said a HR personnel had hunted me on LinkedIn for a grant writer role. What did I study in school? Economics. I'm sure you may have seen that I have a master's in view at the time, economics. Maybe the other master's was in business administration, but they are still not grant writing. But he saw from what the skills on my LinkedIn profile and the experiences that are now this guy would be a very good fit for the grant writer role. The funny thing is that there wasn't even a grant writer role as an experience I've done before. There was grant writing, proposal writing as part of the core experiences I had in that particular job role. But it wasn't the title of the job role, but it was more than enough for a HR personnel to search for me, send for me, and I had an interview without no formal application. All right. Experience is fluid. Experience is fluid. Experience is fluid. Every role builds transferable skills. So your past experiences have more relevance than you think. Is why yesterday I spent time talking about how those little things that you call little from your school days, those assignments you did, those group assignments you did, those presentations you did, they are core skills that they have shaped in you. They have built what? Transferable skills. And so they have more relevance than you think. Career paths are not linear. What that means is that for some people, they can start from the beginning and they start as an architect and then they follow through to masters to PhD level, or maybe they're not even school oriented, they're already in architectural design and all that, right? Good for them. But there are some that after studying architecture may even go back for a second degree in medicine. Yes, it's crazy, but it's some people's realities. There are people that have gone back to school to go and study law again. They did something else before, but they always wanted to be a lawyer. So career paths are not linear. The days of one degree, right? That's the days of one degree equals to one career are over. The world has changed. The kind of roles that we see out there today, there's no quality assurance as a course in a university. The highest you can get for quality assurance is maybe you are taking a course around project management that has to do with product management, and then you now see maybe one crash course around it, but it's not the real deal. Modern professionals pivot. It means to change from one discipline to another. It means to move from one area of expertise to another. And then they experiment, they try their hands. Right? When I stopped working in nonprofit May last year, I tried my hands. I experimented with writing. I've always been writing, but I experimented with writing as the source of income. And I evolved at it constantly. Of course, at the beginning, it was a bit bumpy. It was a bumpy ride. There wasn't any guarantees that I would get one client or the other. But when they started coming, they didn't stop coming because of a choice. Because of a choice. Because of a choice. Give me a minute. I want to just bring a light closer so you all can be able to see my face better. All right. Okay, so far so good. Let's check that you guys are learning something. Tell me on the chat box if you've learned something interesting so far. Just type one. That's easy to do. Just type one on the chat box. If you've learned something exceptional already, just type one, one, one. Just type one on the chat box. Let's be sure that we're not wasting our time here. All right. Okay. So moving on. Now let's understand what transferable skills, right? Because I said originally that every role builds transferable, abilities and skills. Your past experiences have more relevance than you think. So, okay, what are these transferable skills, right? And why are they even relevant in the first place? So we're going to find that out on our next slide. Now, these are the skills that move with you across industries. I mean, no matter where you are, you have to use them. So I'd encourage us to, you see this particular slide. If you can take, let me see if I can make it smaller so you can see the whole thing and take a snapshot. Try to take a snapshot of this particular screen. Do you know why? Every single skill that is here, see, if you like being tech, being healthcare, being finance, being agriculture, being oil and gas, you will use them. Communication, you must write reports. How do you show that you have done a particular work and have done it well? Presenting ideas, you must speak. Whether either verbally or in text or in meetings. Collaborating across teams, you must work with people. As much as you're saying, oh, but I'm an independent contractor, I'm a freelancer. You're, you're a freelancer as a software engineer. You'd have to work with a product manager. You work with a QA engineer. You work with a UI UX designer. So if you say I'm good at what I do, or I can just do my thing on my own and show with them, that you cannot effectively work as a team. So you see, collaborating across teams is still important for you. Articulating complex concepts clearly. Can't stress that enough, because everywhere you go, something will be new that you have to learn. You have to understand it. So it's a transferable skill. If you like change 10 industries, you will still find these skills relevant. Research and analysis, of course, you have to gather data. For some, data is more technical, for some, data isn't. But gathering data, what? Nonetheless, it's something that you cannot avoid across industries. Identifying patterns. How do you make changes? How do you know when something is no longer effective again? Right? You must have done your due diligence and you have seen that, oh, there are patterns in this thing. This is how it naturally would work. This is how it doesn't work. And so you know what to avoid and you know what to implement. Making informed decisions, right? And solving problems strategically. So you want to make sure that you have communication skills and core research and analysis skills. So I'm not a data analyst, so I don't need to learn SQL or Tableau or Power BI. You go to a new place and they tell you to gather data, but they say don't gather data the traditional way. Use these tools. Then you'll be looking at them like this. Why? Because you chose not to. Problem solving, critical thinking, creative solutions. You would always solve problems wherever you go to. Troubleshooting is what makes you relevant, what makes you stand out from the next person or the person before you, and it's what prevents them from having the person after you if your time there is not done. Troubleshooting challenges and adapting to change. Teamwork. And this song that was in this I don't know what cartoon, but I know it's on Nickelodeon. And then maybe some of us have heard before. They get to sing "What's Gonna Work, Teamwork, and What's Gonna Work, Teamwork." Yeah. And so if children are listening to songs like that, it tells you how relevant teamwork is. They want to try and get a banana that got stuck in the center of a tire. Then they will not come together. Of course, they know you can just pick that banana out of the tire, but they want to just do it for the children's sake. To start looking and start observing, they'll say, okay, do we go through here? Do we go through here? Do we go through here? And they say, okay, at the end of the day, one person will give the other person a ledge in their hand. They will climb on it. The other person will not be the one to stretch a hook. That's teamwork. And if children are learning it already, it means it's very relevant across industries. Leadership, taking initiative. Taking initiative means for some of you on this call that the moment as I'm saying something that you feel is relevant to you, you're already penning it down and saying, I'm implementing this now. As soon as the call drops, rather than go back to your daily lives, the first thing you want to do is to implement it. As taking initiative, managing projects. Of course, even this call is a project. Because when we came on the call, we didn't just come and then we stood like this from the beginning to the end. No, things were done. For example, the meeting is being recorded. It's a project. So why is a project? Because it's complex. Some of you can come on this call and cannot record a call. All right. For example, sharing your slides, creating breakout rooms. These are things that managing players, mentoring others. I'd love to believe that I'm mentoring some people here already by what I'm saying, or maybe indirectly. So the fact that you just calls you have with your friends that you're their therapist and are not paying you for, and they keep on coming when they have challenges and they keep on living with solutions. You're mentoring people. That's leadership. It will be what relevant across industries, driving results. Oh, if you are here, you're not thinking to be result oriented. Sorry, you won't last very long in any industry. You have to show results. That's what sets you apart from the person that was there before you, and it's also prevent the next another person from coming in your stead when your time there is not done. Tech and digital skills, software proficiency. You don't have to be a tech person. At least you should be able to operate a laptop. IT support. At least everybody should qualify as an IT support staff at best. Digital tools. Bring out and navigate all these tools. Know what to use, what not to use, when to use them. Social media, because it's open to everyone. I saw a post some 2 days ago, and the person was saying, some of you are saying you want to be seen, you're lacking helpers, for example, you're looking someone that will walk you into the room. But how can they see you when you're not active on social media? Is it a stranger that will come to your house and knock your door and say, I heard a voice in my spirit that I'm supposed to come and take you to the White House? I don't think that's going to ever happen. But how do you position yourself on the internet? Automation, some things you don't have to be doing them every single day. Set a pattern for it. I remember most of my friends' birthdays, not because my brain is so sharp or because I just love them so much and I keep their birthdays in my head. Of course, there are some that I do remember, but then majority of them is my Google Calendar, and it's set on 5 reminders. First of all, it's a repeat calendar, so every single year I'm reminded about this person's birthday. But I started getting reminders from a month before, 2 weeks before, a week before, 3 days before, and an hour or a day before. So when I'm texting you 12 o'clock sharp into your birthday, I probably prepared a message before. It is because I got reminded. It's not necessarily because I remembered, but it's automation. Continuous learning. Oh yes, I'll be using LinkedIn. Oh, Zoom. But I've invited you now to speak on a platform of Google Meet, and you say, "Oh, I'm not used to it," and then you want to bounce off that opportunity. You have to learn it. I was on a call 2 weeks ago, and I had to teach. Okay, I know that I had to. The person recording the call did not know that you could open breakout rooms on Google Meet. She just assumed it was always a Zoom feature. She didn't know it had come to Google Meet. But I was able to navigate to help her do that. And we did that here on Google Meet. All right. Continuous learning. Had I know it, I was on a call one time like that too. And I did not know how to open breakout room because I was asked to. So I forced myself to learn. Now, this is the juicy part. How to rewrite a resume for a new industry. Right? Now, say you graduated from biology, fantastic. Replace that recent guide in biology with aspiring data analyst and research background. Change those things that speak about your past. Let it speak about where you want to go. Don't be afraid to use the word aspire. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I had to say it 3 times. Don't be afraid to use the word aspire, because you are aspiring at the end of the day. Adjust your professional summary, right? Lead with target skills and passion for the new field, not your degree anymore because you want to change. Don't begin by saying, I have a degree. No. Even if you have PhD, you say you're changing the discipline. Fantastic. Drop all those titles. Focus on the transferable skills that you do have and the passion for this new field. Anybody that leaves a particular discipline after I've spent 3, 4, 5, 10 years and goes another discipline, for me, I already see passion for you. Of course, some people will see confusion, but I already see passion for you. When I went to the TEDx event today, I have a habit, right? When I go to an event and it's too corporate for me, right? Maybe it's too corporate, I go with the corporate notion. If it's too creative-ish, there's anything like that, maybe I'm seeing just freelancers, right? I either just keep my face in a way that you will not want to talk to me, or I basically just, if you're asking me, hi Gary, what's your name? No, sorry, hi. I say, hi, I'm Gary. What's your name? This. What do you do? I'll say I'm a writer. I won't say I'm a management consultant. I won't say we handle business financing. I won't say we handle business consulting because it's a different room. So the same way, adjust your professional summary. Lead with the target skills, right, that you want to have and the passion for the new field. Lead with those things so that the things that will stand you out. Reframe your experience. Some of you don't know this, but the truth is the fact that you worked as a project manager doesn't mean that the same experience you have on your resume of project manager will be the same you have on your resume for um what is a smaller segment of project management now? Budgeting and financing can't be the same. Same role, different experience, because on a regular day you can't capture all the experiences you had from a particular job in one resume, under the same experiences. No, it'd be too much. So spread out, break it. All right. Translate past roles using language from your target industry job descriptions. Many people don't do this. Many people don't do this, but I do it as well. Sometimes when someone's asking me to do a resume, I'll say, what's the purpose? I say why I mentioned yesterday that some resumes will carry relevant coursework under your education, some won't. Because if it's only your BSc or your degree that you have, and you want something that is in line with the degree that you have, I will sell just the degree that you have, and you should sell just the degree that you have. But it's when you're going to transition, like some of you want to do on this call, that you now have to not take what they have penned down on the job description for you and use those transferable, those skills, those languages, those keywords. Is what ATS proves you, right? It's those keywords you will take and you would go and check on your CV. Okay, my experience in this particular place, did this thing there? Don't lie. If you actually did use those tools, why not lead from that? Because that's what the ATS will be looking for. Reorder your sections. So now that you know that your degree is not what you want to showcase, don't move from professional summary and then go to education. Push education to the last thing. Let them see your skills. Let them see your experiences. So put skills and relevant projects before education to highlight what matters the most, so they are not conflicted. But if you don't have prior experience and you want to work in a discipline of what you studied in the university, that should be the first thing that comes after your professional summary. You have your education, if you want to go as far as doing your relevant coursework there, show them so your grades can be transferred. Because it's what they see that you have done in these courses that they believe you will do for them, even though you don't have prior experience or paid experiences. So mirror the keywords from the job postings, right, in your target industry. Application tracking, which is the ATS, right, scans for these terms. I kid you not. I kid you not. And of course, don't go and use AI alone and say, oh, AI, see this job, or it will copy everything and go and drop and say, okay, give me the right experiences for this job. And then it brings the things that you have never done in your life before and you put them in your CV. You're guilty of two things. One is not the experience that you had. Two, if those people are very passionate about AI, they will squash your CV just because you use AI on your CV. All right. So let's check that we're following. If you're following, just drop the number 2 on the comment section. If you're following, just drop the number 2 on the comment section as we forge ahead. Now, what to remove versus what to emphasize. So let's do something practical. Let me see if I have the permission of Sam. Right. I want to pause the slides here now. Thank you very much. I want to share 2 CVs of the same person. Right. The same person I told you that did the engineering BSc and did another master's and then went for PhD. Is that okay? Is that okay for me to do, Sam? I want to share two different CVs so you can see how. Okay, thank you. You can see how the same person, same work experience, but different representation is done. All right. Okay, so let's do that. Let's do that. Okay. Let me see if I can use the PDF version so it's easier to share that screen. 1 minute. Okay. All right. What there now? Okay. So let me quickly turn this into a PDF so we can see both of them. All right. While I'm working on that, just at a glance, just look at what I said, what you have to remove versus what you have to emphasize, right? In this your current resume as you want to pivot into a new discipline. Okay. All right. So we have one of the resumes ready. This is the one that was used for the PhD. But I want to start from the other one, right? The older one, so you can see it at a glance and see the changes that were made. Okay. Kindly confirm that you can see a resume on my screen with the name Modesty Charles. I'm supposed to remove this name. Sorry. Oh, you guys already know, but I have to remove the name for sake of the recording. So I'm not putting the person at a risk. Let me use John Doe. Okay. All right. I think much better now. Much better now. There's nothing else that has a name here. All right. So let's use this. Okay. All right. So let's see this. Okay. Now I need your permission again, or rather your confirmation again that you can see a different slide or a different screen. Can you see it? Can you see a resume on your screen? Let me see. A thumbs up would be nice. Thank you, Sam. All right, fantastic. So this is John Doe's resume for the PhD application. All right. And this is John Doe's resume for um let's say, yes, similar, a PhD application too, but for a different field. Okay. So let's see. So you guys are able to tell the difference between these experiences. All right, the things that we showcase. I'm gonna rush on this, so we'll still go back to finish our slides. Okay. All right. So first of all, you even see very different. You see differences in the see the what I call the professional summary. Now some even have a personal statement because sometimes some jobs that you're applying for they won't ask you for a cover letter because they don't. And so sometimes you can send, but sometimes sending it seems like you're an oversabi. And so in order to avoid that marker, what do? You go ahead to do what? To create a segment for a personal statement on your resume. Makes it easier. So you read everything that they want to read about you almost immediately at a glance, and then you take things from there. All right, so now we have the two resumes. Fantastic. So let's rush. This is the resume for a PhD in, can you say it? In post modeling and optimization of urban evacuation procedures. All right. Can we see this? Okay, I believe we can. Now, this same resume, this is what the same resume has. You see what the personal email looks like. You see stuffs like Visual Studio, CUDA, Revit, GitHub. You see HPC. You see currently undergoing a research in this. You see those things. Then you come to what is in the relevant coursework. You see artificial intelligence, because these are the things that the person did in the MSc level that has relevance to where the person was going into. You see the group project, thesis project, other research projects. All right. You see that we sold so much about the school because it's for a PhD, and then you see the undergraduate degree that the person has. Not so much is shared around the person's undergraduate stuff aside the relevant course and the thesis project because there wasn't so much things here that mattered in the PhD. If you come to the experiences, so you see you have certifications, right? You see there's going to be a difference here. This one has HSE levels, introduction to engineering mechanics, beam bending, because they are relevant to this particular PhD. Now let's look at the experiences. Same experience, right? Sunview developers, assistant site supervisor. Look at what the responsibilities were. Optimize this, ensure strict this, directed this, allocation. You see the percentages like we made mention for metrics. Fantastic. Now, if we go to the one for the other PhD, which was in finance, what do we see here? So it doesn't look as if I'm just making more. A PhD in what? Finance. Do you see that the person did not mention the research work that was done because it's irrelevant to this particular PhD? What did the person focus on? AI and ML models, because this particular finance is on financial microstructure. That's what the PhD is going to major on. Person did not stop there, right? Now look at the PhD level, right? And look at the MSc level and look at the bachelor's level. Now you can tell that some of the you look at the other research here. You see big data analysis of global COVID-19 impact. You come here, you don't see it. Okay, you see it as well. You see it as well. Okay, you see that we highlighted some of these things because those ones were from what? A different discipline. They were relevant to this particular course. All right, we move from there. You come to the relevant coursework for the bachelor's. What do you see? Transport systems analysis, because they are relevant to a PhD in modeling and optimization. But when we come here to the one for finance, what do we see? We see engineering economics because it's what is relevant. All right. You see that we come here, we start looking, we see entrepreneurship preparing for launch. I don't know if this was already in this other one. I don't think it was. Entrepreneurship. Okay, it is here. Beam bending, introduction to engineering mechanics. Let's see if it's the same thing here. Beam bending. Okay. And so, but you see that there was a difference in this coursework because that's what we're trying to sell at the end of the day. All right. So, what do you want to remove and what do you want to emphasize? Remove excess academic theory because now you're ditching your course. Remove irrelevant details, projects and subjects with zero connection, like we did. We changed those ones that were relating to engineering and we replaced them with the economics aspect of that. Is the closest thing to finance. Generic statements, hardworking team player, we don't even have that in the first place, right? So we're not focused on project. You see that we mentioned AI and ML platforms because the person was going into a field in that particular sector in finance. With certification, we talked about the online entrepreneurship. Confirming it was not going to be relevant for the other PhD. You looked at real work that you have done, tangible results. This is what sets the tone. So handling your degree, your degree doesn't match objection. How do you do it? You explain your pivot clearly. While I studied engineering, I discovered my passion for content strategy through freelance project and realized my analytical skills translate perfectly. Tell them that yes, you see that I have probably haven't gone as far as getting to PhD level in this particular course. You will think that I just love the course. Apparently, I don't. But this is why I shifted. This is why I changed. Defend your career interests. Share specific moments or projects that sparked your transition. What made you change? When I work on personal development, I want to apply abroad, I ask these questions. You fill a form, and I tell you what sparked it. Something has to spark you. Not sparked. I can't write for you because I cannot write a lie. Show genuine enthusiasm and informed commitment to the new path that you want to chart. Show industry alignment. Reference courses that you have taken before, communities that you have joined, just the smallest of things that will just show some certain level of enthusiasm for this new field so they will take you seriously is what you want to do. If you're already connected to industry leaders in that space, showcase that you have. All right? Showcase that you do what? That you have. That's how you sell yourself. Build recruiter confidence. Highlight quick wins, relevant side projects, right? or volunteer work that demonstrates that you can deliver the results in this new space, even though you don't have a degree backing it. Practical pivot mapping exercise, right? So let's get tactical. This also be for everyone on the course. So let's see how we can do it, right? Old discipline. What did you study and where are you coming from? Tell us on the chat box. What did you study? What did you study? New target industry. Where do you want to work now? Tell us. For some of you that are already even working in the new industry, tell us, oh, I studied this, but I'm working here right now. Like me, I studied economics, but I'm in the social enterprise sector. Transferable skills. List the abilities that bridge social field. List those things that you know that whether you are in mass communication or product manager, that you have these skills and they're always going to be relevant. Tell us. Right? Now, two experiences from that you're going to reframe. Tell us from your past role or past project how you wrote a particular thing and how you're going to change things now. So before you may have said manage editorial calendar, but now you're going to be saying coordinated cross-functional content delivery pipeline because you're not delving into product management. So I'll leave this here, all right, for everyone. Everyone has to act on it. Tell us your old discipline, what you studied, your new target industry, or if you're already even inside, your 5 transferable skills and 2 experiences that you are looking to reframe on your current resume. On your current resume. All right. All right. So we have just one more slide to go and now open the floor for questions. That will give us 10 minutes to deliberate. So please have your questions and let's talk. So this, please, again, 4 questions you're going to be answering for us. What was your old discipline? What is the new target industry that you're going through or you're currently in? What are the 5 transferable skills? Remember the skills we mentioned: communication, right? Let's go back so you can refresh your memory. Research and analysis, teamwork, problem solving, leadership, tech and digital skills. Tell us which ones have you discover that they are the skills that you have that would be relevant across industries. Share with us. And then let's take action by saying reframe 2 experiences from your current resume, right? So where you had something that the conversation there was about the original field that you have, move from there. Oh, thank you, Sam, for sharing. So Sam had his discipline in animation, and then he moved to AI and DevOps, if I'm not mistaken. And then one of the transferable skills that he can make mention is coding and learn. They are writing that you have, whether you're a front end or back end developer, you probably have to learn coding. You see this person now that is going to do a PhD in finance, and then it's on financial market microstructure. She's going to code. So if she did not think it was relevant before, she would see now that it is. So you want to have a bit of everything. If you open my Udemy platform, I have like 14 to 20 courses. Like 14 of them they are all tech courses. Do I want to branch to tech? Hell no, it's not for me. But I want to just gain the knowledge because it will help me. When I work with people, I should be able to tell whether they're telling me the truth or not. I should be able to tell whether they know their onions or not, and whether they will serve my cause well or not. So these are the things. These are the things. These are the things. All right. Key takeaways and next steps. Your degree does not define your destiny. It's a chapter in your story, not the entire book. You have permission to write new chapters. So I give you permission today. Go write new chapters beyond your degree. Skills create mobility. What that means is that when you have some skills, it's easier for you to transition from one industry to the next. What you can do matters infinitely more than what you studied. So find those skills that can create mobility for you, that can make you move from one industry to the next, that can make you move from one country to the next. Resume resume reframing is strategic. It's not about lying. Please don't lie. I don't like lies at all. It's why when I do it for someone, I give the person a question that you feel that you send back to me. I won't write anything other than what you have put there, but I will represent you properly. It's about highlighting the right experiences and presenting yourself for the role that you want. Don't you want the role? If you didn't want it, you will not be on this call. So this is what I'm wanting you guys to do after this session. You already have your assignment for this session, but after, This week, write your CV headline and professional summary to align with your desired industry. Update at least one experience description using language from target job postings. When they bring the job ad, don't rush to go and check. Don't scroll down to go and check what the remuneration is. It's important, yes, but check what's leverage, what loophole you can access to make sure you get the job. Then, share it with a mentor or peer for feedback. All right. Remember, every expert in any field was once a beginner who dared to pivot. Your turn starts now. Thank you. All right. So we're going to leave the floor open for questions.
Yeah, I have one.
Oh,
I
you
have
have
a
one.
yes.
Okay,
So
go
what's
on.
the difference between resume and CV?
Okay. So your CV encompasses everything that you have done. I mean, everything that you have done. It's why most times CVs can go as far as even 10, 20. I've worked on a CV of 20 pages before because the person has 14 years, maybe 16 years experience and he has worked in multiple places. But your resume is more focused to the field that you're applying to. For example, let me just give you a genealogy of what I've done, right? I started by being an administrative assistant to a faculty in a state university. I moved from there to becoming a writer. I've been a writer since for almost 7 to 8 years, right? And then I had experience also being a programs manager in the non-profit sector, right? I had experience being a product manager in the for-profit sector. I had experience being a people's manager and a content strategist as well. Now, if I'm applying for a role in programs, you won't find my product management experience there. You won't find my content strategy experience there unless that particular role says I'm going to be writing. You won't find my administrative experience. You'll probably only just find my programs experience, even if it's one experience. That's the only thing that you find there. That's what the resume is. It is tailored specifically to a particular discipline. And so that you have worked in 6 different industries is irrelevant if you're applying to only one industry. All 5 has to get out. But it's why I said that there are sometimes you have done things, transferable skills in these various industries that you can make sure that you're not refining what you have as your experience of that particular field. So it's still a resume, but it's way smaller than what a CV would look like. So your resume can be 1 page, it can be 2 pages, but your CV, you can have 20 pages in a CV because you have done so much. So most times when you are bidding for contracts, I don't care how high you are. In fact, you're bidding for contract with the government, they will ask for your CVs. They won't ask for your resume. They ask for your CV and they ask for your portfolio. If they do ask for your resume, rare occasions, your CV, they want to see, okay, let me just even see how competent this person has been. Then they are what are they checking? They're going to be checking how long did you stay in a particular workspace. So if some of us that jump from jobs that will do 6 months or 3 months or going to another job, they are checking those things to see if you're going to be someone that they can work with on a long-term base, or they just find you one contract, give you the contract so you can go. All right. So the difference is one captures every single thing that you have done, but the other one just captures everything that you have done that is relevant to where you are going to or what you are applying for. All right. I don't know if that answers your question, Sam.
Yes, that does. I also know like it might be country specific as well. I know.
Yes, true that. Countries speak. So there's another thing that happens, right? There are some jobs that would ask you for your CV, not your resume. Sometimes entry-level jobs don't ask you for your resume because they probably if you don't even have one, but there's nothing tailored. They ask you for a CV. In those cases, you have to send a CV. But there are some jobs as well that we ask you for a CV, especially if it's a job that is a senior level role. They won't ask you for a resume. They want to see how long you have been working for. So what are they checking? They're checking your years of experience. You have put in your professional summary that you have 20 years experience. They want to see where the 20 years experience is coming from. So they're going to ask you for your CV. They don't care how bulky it is. They want to see what was your first role and if your first role really relates to what you're doing now. And if that first role that you did 5 years for can be counted inside the 25 years experience that you say you have for this particular role. And then sometimes they just want to see if you're multifaceted because they look forward to being multifaceted. So one of the reasons why I got that headhunt for the grant writing role was because they were calling me to come and train grant writers that they will have. So it was a company that had a non-profit arm. They wanted me to work for the company, so I would train writers for the non-profit arm because I had non-profit experience, but more importantly, I had a training and development experience. So when I was asked to send my grant writing CV, not my resume, I sent what contained both my programs, product management experience, because I knew that was what we were looking for, and they didn't question it. So I changed for product management. I changed um 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 I changed in cases where I would normally write for programs, right? Where I would write grant writing, I would write fundraising, or I'd write being able to get seed capital or get investor money coming in. Same, same not really same experiences, but across disciplines, same experiences, but different captions. All right. So yes, you have to be sure. Now, if a job ad tells you send CV, please don't send them a resume, send them a CV. But make sure that even that CV is somewhat tailored to the job that you're applying for. So you're going to be wise too. You're not going to put every single thing that you have done in that CV. Even if you do, this is another thing again. Thank you very much for this question, Sam. Another thing you can't do in a CV, in a case where they're asking for your CV for a job when they didn't ask for a resume, make sure that the experiences in each job role should not exceed two or one. The ones that you have done that qualify you for this particular role you're applying for, you can have more experiences written underneath them. But then for the other ones that are irrelevant, write just one or two bullet points that summarizes your entire experience there. All right. So yes, there are sometimes they work hand in hand, but you have to be clear and know what you're doing. So in the case where it doesn't seem like it's clear, then you do what you navigate by ensuring that what you have captured, you have not captured too much content on a discipline that is not relevant for the job you're applying for. All right. I do hope that clears the air now, Sam.
Yes, that does. Thanks for that response.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have just 3 minutes to go. Does anyone have any other questions before we bring the session to an end?
Yeah. And just so everyone knows, we have another session starting in a minute. That'll be led by Jules. She's on the call as well. So
Yeah, because I noticed someone just joined in, and she was. I love her smile, by the way. I noticed someone just joined in. I was like, this person came so early for the session, but then I'm seeing she's taking a second. So amazing to have you here. Amazing to have you
Thank
here.
you.